Hi, I'm Sue from Barkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's. So with Christmas upon us, I thought I would talk about what do we leave our children. I had 3 children. I now have, unfortunately, 2 of them. My son having passed away just shy of 39 years, 4 years ago. So a gathering of my children is very precious to me, especially when they bring their children and we gather as a larger family. So I've had my son and my daughter-in-law and their 3 boys, and my daughter with her 3 girls. So it has been glorious mayhem here in our house. Children everywhere, bodies sleeping everywhere, laughter, loudness, just being together and having fun. And while it's been tiring, it has been a wonderful thing to have them all together. So what do we leave our children? It's thinking about what we leave our children in many aspects of our lives. While we've been together, we've been creating memories, and for their children, I'm sure they will look back fondly on this time that we've had at Christmas with myself and my husband, just spending time together with people we love. So we have spent a couple of days together now, and where we live there are some really nice Christmas decorations that people have lit up their houses with lights and light shows and laser effects and all manner of things. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go and look at them this year because of my mobility issues, but the children set off with their parents, all the cousins laughing and giggling and excited, and they return even more so. There were stories to be told of the lights and the kindness of the strangers lighting up their houses, giving them little presents and lollies, and just the general kindness of strangers of putting together the Christmas lights. So I'm sure this will become a regular thing with myself and my children and their children when we're together, that we go and see the Christmas lights. So hopefully in Christmas 2025, I'll be able to go with them and share that experience with my granddaughters. Unfortunately, it won't be with my grandsons, but that will be for another year. Gosh, my voice is croaky this morning. As I've said before, I have Parkinson's, and my voice gets croaky from time to time, and it just is what it is. So if I edited out my voice every time it went croaky, I basically wouldn't have much content left. So again, what do we leave our children? In physical terms, stuff that we leave them. I've had a conversation now over the last 2 days with my daughter and then with my son and then with them both together. I have a china cabinet and it's got a lot of things in it. Some of them are precious to me, some are worth only monetary terms. But I wanted my children to know what was what. There is a little egg cup there, it's tarnished, it's made of silver, and my grandmother gave it to me, my nana gave it to me for my baptism when I was just a tiny baby. So that little item doesn't look very special, and on the surface of it you wouldn't think it was valuable, but it's valuable for me because it was given with love to me as a baby when I was baptized. Also in there, I pointed out to my daughter and my son, and I was laughing as I said it. I said, see those wine glasses there with the stems that are swans? Have you noticed those before? And I don't think either of them had. And I said, the reason I'm laughing is I bought those for my mum with my very first pay packet when I was 16. So there is a set of 6 wine glasses with swans for stems, and I bought them, as I said, with my first pay packet and gave them to my mum. And she sort of went, oh, thanks, darling, and looked a little perplexed, and I think I was wondering why she was perplexed, and then it struck me. My mum didn't drink wine, so I probably bought them because I saw them. I thought they were beautiful, and I wanted to buy them, maybe more for me. But the thought was that I wanted to give Mum something from my first pay packet. So I have quite rightly inherited those, and they will hopefully maybe go to one of my children. The other things that's in there is some bud vases, that's B-U-D, bud vases, that you put just a single flower in. I've been collecting them for years. They come in various colours, and I think they're beautiful. And I said to my daughter and my son, look, they may not be your thing, but, if the children would like to have one of those, if they could choose one of those vases, I have a beautiful garden, and they will remember that beautiful garden. Nana would pick a rose before it was properly formed, just in a bud, and place it in that beautiful vase in her home and wait for it to open. So hopefully if they take one of those vases, they will then carry on the tradition of putting a single rose in there to beautify their home and think of me. Now, what else is in there? Oh, yes. So, when my children's father and I were married, my parents gave us a crystal hedgehog, and I have that in my china cabinet. And I said to my daughter, even though my marriage to their father is very distant history, this still has meaning for me because it is a gift from my parents for my first marriage. So I said to them, I would like one of you to have that. I would hate for that to go to an op shop and have no real value. I've also been a collector of blue glass. It's called depression glass, and the blue is the rarest of them all. So I've been collecting it for quite some time, and it's been quite hard to get. And I said to them, just looking at it, it's just some glass dishes in a glass cabinet, and it doesn't look necessarily very valuable for somebody who doesn't know what they are. Blue depression glass can be quite valuable, and one item can be worth $20, quite a small item. So it was important that they knew what the value was, so that some person couldn't come round and say, I'll give you $200 for the lot in that china cabinet, when actually it's got a significant amount of value, actual monetary value, and I wanted my kids to be aware so that they wouldn't be ripped off by somebody. I mean, let's face it, there are people that come along when there's like an estate sale, and they will rip people off knowing that they can make money. I didn't want that to happen for my children. There's also some Cornish ware. So Cornish ware is blue and white striped pottery. It comes from Cornwall, and we bought some of it there, and I've bought some of it here. And just a coffee mug is $30 at least. So, we've got a number of items of Cornish ware, and again, if they didn't know that, they could be ripped off and somebody say, well, I'll buy that coffee mug for $5 or $10 even, and think they were getting a good deal. So I went through the china cabinet with my kids, and I said, there's other items there that are worth real money, and there are other items in there that are worth not money, but they have a value far beyond money. I think sometimes recording these recordings early in the morning, my voice is even more gravelly than normal, but we'll get through. So I had this conversation with my daughter and my son, and telling them the stories, sharing bits of my life, these items represented, and why they were special to me, and why I displayed them in a cabinet for all to see. So my daughter said to me, it would be a good idea if you wrote these things down. So that's what I'll do. I will go through the china cabinet and say, these are the things that are important because of family history. These are the things that are important because I want you to get the money that they're worth and not to be ripped off. So I think, much as we don't like to think about not being here anymore with our children on this earth, we also want to build in some way that they can remember us. Some item perhaps, like those little vases, that they can have in their home, even if it's not necessarily their thing as such, in inverted commas. My husband hates it when you do that gesture, that thing. Anyway, so they can have that thing, in inverted commas, in their home, that when they put a flower in there, that it reminds them of me. Another thing that I've been doing is I've been baking with my granddaughters in particular for several years now, and we love spending that time together. And I've hit upon a system with the girls that each of them bakes their own thing with Nana, and we're in the kitchen together, and the other girls aren't allowed to come in, so that's our sacred space, our time together that nobody disrupts or interrupts. So I have been compiling a clear file of the recipes that we bake together, and I've said to them, promise me in the future, in the far distant future, when you're baking with your child and even your grandchildren, promise me you'll get these recipes out sometimes and bake the ones that you baked when you were a child with your nana. And they've all said that they will. I hope that they continue the tradition of baking that has been long-standing in our family. And some of the recipes that I have were from my nana. So that would be their great-great-grandmother who I inherited the recipes from. There's some from my auntie, who's recently passed away. So there's some from my mum, my nana, and my auntie. And because they are from them, they are precious. I remember how I got some of these recipes. When I lived in the North Island, I would come to Christchurch for holidays, and I would visit each of my family members when they lived in the beach settlement here, and they were very close neighbours, so I could easily walk from house to house and visit. And I would get to my auntie's place and I'd say, "Can I have a look through your recipes?" And she'd get out recipes that had been handwritten in a recipe book or on recipe cards, and I would flick through them and write them down. And they in turn are in my folders to remind me of them. I do the same thing with my mum. I do the same thing with my nana. So I have family recipes of my aunt, my nana, my cousin, actually I've just realised, and my mum. And they are special because they remind me of all those people, and I'm passing those down to my children. So even if you think you don't have anything of value to leave your children, think about a small item that might be in the corner of a china cabinet, or a recipe that you've been baking for years, and maybe you've forgotten that you got it from your mum, who got it from her mum, who might even have got it from her mum. And they have no value in money terms, but they have significant value in terms of memories. So this has been a very croaky Sue for Parkies and me, my journey with Parkinson's. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you travel along this road with me. Kia kaha, be strong, be brave, be you.